Holy Bible. Europe's beginning to look like the North American Siege scene recently, with teams making big money moves nobody would have seen 6 months ago. But this week, we've seen a cadre of changes that promise huge shakeups heading into our next season of play, and you know, we gotta start with Fabian is back! Fabian has now officially joined Team Vitality. Our God Emperor can't stay dead for any longer than Jesus can, apparently, because only a little over 3 days after formally getting his G2 release, he's already found a new home. But in true Vitality fashion, they can't stand to make just one roster switch on the same day, and have also added Rizse, formerly a part of the European Rogue Corps let go just a few days ago. This puts Vitality's new team at Hungry, Bibu, Goga, Rizse, and Fabian, and oh man, Smoothie AK must be creaming his pants right now. This marks the first time that any previous members of an invitational winning G2 squad have met up on a different team since being released. I seem to remember something about Goga and Fabian not always getting along when they were on their tenure of world domination, but I'm much more interested in seeing how they can do, dominating worlds yet again when the EU League kicks off in just a couple of weeks. To make these changes, Vitality has parted ways with both Daye and Stiggy. Bit of a sad story for Daye, as he's been with the team for over 2 years and had to endure a Challenger League relegation and clawing his team back out of CL to resume play in Season 10. I hope we don't have to wait long to figure out where he's going to next, because he's truly a wonderful player in his own right, and there's currently one all-French Pro League roster in Europe that still needs a player. Please, dear God, BDS, do the right thing here. Stiggy already has a plan for the future. He was the first Finnish player to join the previously all-French Vitality lineup in time for DreamHack Valencia last year, but now he's going back to his Finnish roots by joining up with Sisu as that team continues to shuffle some things around. So that is the news of today, but this past week has seen a couple of other changes come to light. I think I'm probably past the point of making videos on just one individual roster move if I can help it, but the issue is that all of these moves in Europe got spaced out so strangely, and I was trying to figure out when to do a Roster Mania video. Then Vitality did their stuff today, and I was like, well, that's perfect! I mentioned Rogue parting ways with Rizse earlier, and that seems to have stemmed from him wanting to make some changes after their winless group stage exit at the 2026 Invitational. Rogue's reevaluation process was something he didn't like, according to a twitlonger he released after Rogue dropped him from their lineup, so he opted to make a different change and sign with Vitality rather than stick with a system that he wouldn't have wanted to be a part of. But this week also has seen Rogue bench Hicks, and he's been with the Rogue roster since all the way back in the Millennium days of 2017. I've heard people sing his praises for years, including his old Rogue teammates, and it's unclear where he's off to next. Maybe he could be the one to fill BDS's void. That was more sexual than yeah. But Rogue wouldn't have made these changes if they weren't bringing in big guns to replace them, and boy howdy, they are about to tear up. They've added Karzheka after his release from Team Empire, and LeonGids of the old Team Secret. First of all, this roster could not look more stacked, but I wanted to make it clear that the old Team Secret core is no longer a thing. The org has signed the German Orgless team after they qualified for the EU League out of CL a few weeks ago, and their old British-Finnish team disbanded shortly after that Challenger League season was over. Meepy is now an analyst for United, Jonas is basically retired again, Fonkers is playing for X-Crazy, Blaz is with the Lowland Lions, and now Leon has found a new home with Rogue after a 14-month period of not being in Pro League. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and declare this to be the new era of super teams. G2 got ahead of the curve when they signed both Virtue and CTZN, and then these guys looked at all those changes and went, we need to buff our rosters as well. You gotta go toe-to-toe with the best if you want to beat the best, and whenever any of these three teams play one another, I'm sure it's gonna be a blockbuster. Before we get out of here, last night also saw the Soniqs formally confirm that Iconic is their new 5th player to replace Neptunes. We've known about it for a while, but the org wanted to wait for him to turn 18 before they confirmed it, because you have to be 18 to play in the North American League, so now we actually get to talk about it. I've obviously seen less play from him than a lot of the other players that were rumored to be Soniqs' 5th instead, but I'm excited to see what he can do, and I hope he makes an impact. We're still waiting on Disrupt Gaming to announce who their new 5th player is after Drip's departure from the team a few weeks back, but for the most part, I think we're nearing the end of the last shuffle to come before the pro circuit begins in just a couple of weeks. That's all from me. I appreciate your kind words on the interviews I've been doing with pro players these past couple weeks. I'm not going to do another one for a little bit because they do take some time to do, but they will definitely be coming back at some point soon. Hit up my Twitter, my Twitch, and this YouTube channel for more in the coming days, please and thank you, and stay tuned for one massive multi-video project that should hopefully be coming out before the new league system releases. Talk to you later. Peace.